Hey, I'll never not watch that clip. I love freaking Chris Farley, R.I.P. Uh, I've been working on The Last Wizard. I've been wanting to do an update on this because people have been asking me like, when's this coming out? Because they really like The Secret Hole, and I'm glad that people are liking it. I've gotten 31 5-star reviews so far. Like none of them have been less than 5-star, and I can't believe that. I think that's awesome. This book has been a lifelong uh this project. I was working on it off and on since middle school. I came up with the concept when I was in like fifth grade. I just came up with the title at first, and then the story just took off from there. I'm like, you know, thinking I like these stories where uh the characters they find another world and they go on this adventure. I always liked Narnia. I always liked things like that, and Wrinkle in Time. Like I like that concept where somebody discovers another world and they go on this adventure. And so I was always inspired by like Narnia and Lord of the Rings and Redwall. I love Redwall. You got this unlikely hero, who becomes a legend in his own time. So I came up with these two boys, because I always wanted two brothers like me and my brother. Like I always imagined us going on crazy adventures with wizards. And I've always been obsessed with wizards and fantasy in general. And so yeah, so they're about the same age I was when I was writing this, about 12. Yeah, I imagine them to be 12 in like seventh grade. And Zach Guhi was one of the first characters I came up with, I believe. Uh, a lot of it, a lot of it was changed throughout time. A lot of uh, different drafts I went through, and one of my main cheerleaders has been my mom. Thank you for all the prayers and the kind words. My mom's in the hospital right now. She had another back surgery, but she's doing well. She slept well last night, and they're wanting to take the tube out today. They had a breathing tube in, but just for like precaution. But she's doing really well. She's breathing on her own, and it seems to be healing. So thank you again for everybody saying such kind words. And yeah, my dad's the one I was most worried about because he was so racked with anxiety. But he seems to be doing better now too. But she was the first one to read The Secret Hole and loved it, and she's been waiting for the second one. She wants to read she's gonna be the first one to read that one too. And she's always asking me like, "Did you work on your book today?" Yeah. Sometimes I'm not working on it. I'm a big procrastinator, so she gets on me. Like you need to work on it. So yeah, the story. I might get into some spoilers, potential spoilers about the story of the second one. The first one we left off uh, with the company uh, going back to Castle Tyon. They got away from King Mankard and his guards. A couple of the dragons that escaped that encounter at the Great Monolith. We follow their story. Blot's dragons, Invictus and Scapo. So there are more plot threads in this one than in the first one by far, because we're also following Mara's quest to bring her husband back, to bring Draven back, and she summons a demon to take out Tim and Tom. I'm spoiling that right now. A very powerful genie, and Zach and Blot are off on their own adventure with Vadmore the unicorn. I'm spoiling the unicorn's name, Vadmore. Uh, they're they're on a quest to gain more allies in the war in the war against Experia. So they go to the underwater palace of the Mer King. Stellartine is his name, and the city's called Helvaros. So a lot of this came up with like later on. Well, like when I was working on the second draft of The Last Wizard, because I had started it and then the story changed in the first one, so I had to go back and retool for the second one. You got the you have this underground resistance that started like in the months since Mankard took over Hativano. So you have what they're called the Corvin Rangers. They're basically like I always loved the concept of Robin Hood and the Merry Men. They're basically like them. They're this underground resistance that's stealing from the nobles, and they're trying to help the poor people in the town. And it's kind of like that. And the old man that was in the jail cell, the old seer, he's actually with them. So he was kidnapped by Mankard and put into prison, and these guys are trying to rescue him. So that's where we find them. They encounter Coma and the others because the first thing that happens in the book is a princess is kidnapped. The cousin of Dale, the elf thief, is kidnapped because Mankard wants to use her as leverage because the whole all of Dweldo now knows that he's in league with the Experians. So he knows he's screwed unless he does something to keep them off his back. So he kidnaps the princess, and yeah, I'm not gonna say how. You have to read and find out because some characters from the first one are more involved in this one. Characters that you may not expect, and yeah, things. I'm not gonna say I'll subvert expectations because it's still more. It's still like the traditional kind of good versus evil story, and things that you might expect to happen probably will, but some things that you might not expect to happen will. Folion plays a bigger part in this. He was mentioned in the first one. He's the Emperor of the Dragons of Experia. Very, very evil dragon. Like he just hates humanity and wants them all gone. So we'll get more from him, and then Sam and the Oath Keepers appear in this novel, and they'll play a bigger part. They're mentioned in the first novel, so a lot of things that were mentioned in the first novel alluded to are going to show up in this one and the third one. Uh, so yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but that's an update on like the story, the whole concept. I'm on like chapter 17. I what I do is I write mostly in scenes, and then I go back and like add the chapter title and whatnot. But yeah, I'm like following the different storylines at the same time. A lot of times, like I'm adding dialogue, adding if I if I get stuck on one storyline, I might just jump back to another one and follow that one. Yeah, that's how I like to do it because you can't you can write uh just anything and go back and edit it out if you want to. Like if you're pursuing a career as a writer, you can you can write things and try to like distance yourself from them, like not maybe not get too attached to character names and whatnot. If a lot of people use placeholders uh like wizard or paladin, whatever, before they come up with names because they don't want to get attached to the name in case they want to change it later. And yeah, Dale's name at first was Dauk, but I was like, that's too close to Mender's last name, Mender's Alk. So I changed it to Dale, which I like, and it's kind of a an homage to Lord of the Rings because of the city called Dale. I like that. So yeah, that's a little behind the scenes. The Last Wizard. This book will hopefully I'll be able to release it by the end of the year. I see. I'm not very good at setting deadlines and then following them. I've always been a procrastinator, but I promise I will not take as long as George R. R. Martin with his books. I think it's been like 12 years or something like that since his last Game of Thrones book. But yet, this for sure will come out soon. And I already have gotten in touch with the cover artist. He'll be working on something. It's gonna pop. So I'm excited. Uh, and thanks again for supporting me. Thanks again for the reviews and the kind words and everything. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.